So this is my honest take about Peterson and Coates, and this will be my last comment about the situation between Peterson and Coates. I'm back! Okay, who cares? And before we get into this episode, I want to show a short clip of a video of an interview I recently did, which is why I'm even doing this video right now. So let's play that.
That I'll do. And I know that I don't need to say much. The fact that a Black woman is talking about Jordan Peterson is enough. I don't have to do his revenge tour. Like, just me giving that video was me negating the fact that I don't think he is someone that hates women and that is a white supremacist.
Yeah.
Of course, there's people that are like, I'm like, go somewhere. But stuff like that, like, yeah, and then yes, it's not easy to do. Like, everyone's like, oh, you're so brave. I'm like, I don't know if it's bravery, but it's necessary. I think things like that's necessary. And so I do things like that on my channel. And then I have another video about how Ta-Nehisi Coates was my professor and I love him. People just don't know how to, like, wait, you like Jordan and how do you like them both? I'm like, well, you can.
Yeah.
Maybe you should understand why I do. I wouldn't like a white supremacist, right? So, yeah.
So just for context, this podcast with Bret was actually shot probably a month before the Red Skull comic was publicized. So my choice of using Peterson and Coates at the end of this podcast to show the range of thinkers that I like was ironic, to say the least. Or maybe it was fate. Who knows? But because of this interview, and because I often talk about how Ta-Nehisi Coates was my former professor at NYU, and I also talk about how I feel like a lot of people get Peterson wrong and how I feel like he's an important critical thinker, after the Red Skull comic dropped, so did those comments and questions, my God. And to say that I was literally flooded with hundreds, maybe even close to 1,000, I'll say hundreds. And because of this, I was literally flooded with hundreds of comments on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, I think even LinkedIn. I'm not even kidding. People asking me, how do you feel about this situation? How do you feel about Coates making Peterson into this Red Skull comic? And to be real, when I heard this information, I didn't know what Red Skull was. I was like, what is Red Skull? What is this man? What is this character? I have no idea. So just to preface before we move on, I don't like comics. I don't like action movies. I don't watch them. I never have seen Captain America. And go ahead at me. I know it's coming. This is probably the most controversial thing I'll say this whole video. Hot take. Yes. It's not me. I don't dig it. So to say that I was lost about what this Red Skull character was is to really minimize how confused I was. I was like, I don't get this. So I did a little research, and after I did that research and I read some articles, read back on what this character was, I was like, okay, now that I know who this character is, I'm shocked that Peterson is being compared to him, because I personally don't see any correlation between Peterson and this Red Skull character at all. So I was shocked. I really was. Okay, I'm going to take this off. It's getting hot up in here. All right, a little outfit change. Never heard anyone it. It's hot, so let me just... But honestly, there's a few reasons why I didn't come out with a video following this news. One reason was I was in Colorado, like I mentioned, and I was helping out my friend. So I really want to be mentally present for her. But the main two reasons are perfectly encompassed in these two quotes I'm about to read to you. One is from Plato, and he says, "Wise men speak when they have something to say. Fools speak because they have to say something." And the second quote comes from Bernard Meltzer. He was a radio host in the 60s. He hosted a show called What's Your Problem? And he says this, which I think is very profound. He stated, "Before you speak, ask yourself if what you are going to say is true, is necessary, is helpful. If the answer is no, maybe what you're about to say should be left unsaid." So this brings me to my first main reason. One, Not every conversation or every current event needs everyone's commentary. Let me say that again. Not every single conversation or current event needs everyone's commentary. And this has been a notion that I've utilized and I've believed in way before this debacle between Coates and Peterson. I have carried this with me as I journeyed through being a better and a more effective critical thinker. That is not just about what you say, it's about how well you listen. And especially now that I have this platform, I really wait before I speak. Whether on YouTube, whether on Twitter, it doesn't matter. I honestly and literally think to myself, will my voice and my perspective be conducive to this conversation or to this topic at hand? Or should I just participate by listening? And the second reason why I waited to make this video is because I don't have enough information to make a practical point besides what everyone else has been saying, that Jordan Peterson isn't this Red Skull character, this doesn't fit who he is. I don't have anything else to say other than what's been said. Also, I personally want to have a conversation with Coates because he was my professor. And I would love to know, what did you read? What did you hear? What made you decide that you were going to use Peterson as inspiration for this character? That is what I want to know. That's the information I'm seeking. That's the information I need to make a whole, full, objective point to this. And as I was pondering the reasons why Coates would have done this, I'm not him, I don't know, but the best objective take that I can make. And what I'm about to say, I understand people are like, oh, it's going to be subjective because he was your former professor. You're right, it probably will be. Also will be subjective because I like Peterson. Like, I'm human, I'm not perfect. I'm not like 100%, no one's 100% objective. Let's just be real. People are going to be subjective, unbeknownst to them. It's just going to happen. But these are my guesses, and it's as close to objectivity as I can possibly get to. So my first guess is the most mainstream one. Perhaps Coates is getting his information the way most people are getting their information with Peterson, through hearsay, through what they've heard from someone. And that his whole idea of Peterson perhaps is not on his own research, that he was told by a person that Peterson's bad, horrible, etc., but hasn't fully dived into research to combat that narrative or to see if that narrative's true. My second guess is I watched a few videos and I've actually Googled for this and I haven't seen it. All that's popping up is this comic and this Red Skull character. So if you have this information, drop the link. But I've watched some videos and some of the commentators in those videos said that I guess Peterson critiqued Coates on his ideas or philosophy through some essays or through an interview. I've been looking for this info. I've not seen it. They didn't even reference it. So if you know the information, drop it. I want to see that. And maybe perhaps this is Coates' response to that critique. Maybe, who knows? Third, I was really trying to think, okay, what else could it be? And to be honest, I'm like, maybe this is a writer's room moment. And for those who might not know what a writer's room is, it's basically where a room of writers produce content for a TV show or a movie. In this case, Captain America. Of course, Coates is writing the script, but obviously he's going to have help. And I was thinking, what if, this idea was pitched to Coates? Hey, what if we use Peterson as like an inspiration for this Red Skull character? And because he's controversial, this is controversial, and et cetera, et cetera. And perhaps it was pitched to Coates and Coates liked it and he went with it. I also don't know. But the answer is, and my full comment about this is, I want to know why. And I want to hear the reasonings behind it. Like, I really want to know. Because I'm really confused on how Peterson is at all relevant to this character. Straight up, I am. And I'm sure people think that I'm going light on this take or on my opinion or holding back. I'm really not. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is your teacher, you're biased, and you're not going to be saying how you really feel because you like them. You know what? Maybe. You could be right. But I'm going to push back and say no. Because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Peterson did a controversial comic on Coates. I would be given the same energy. I would not be coming out swinging against Peterson. I would still want to know why. I would still be like, this doesn't fit Coates' character to me. And I actually respect Peterson. I want to know why he did this. I'm not going to turn on him and be like, I do not like you, Peterson, now because you don't like this guy that taught me. No. Peterson's a grown man and he can like whoever he wants. Vice versa with Coates. And this gets to another broader take with me personally and how I think. I do not base who I like on who other people like. Even down to friendships. Like my relationship with someone is my relationship with that person. It's not contingent on another person or what another person thinks about that person. That relationship is between me and that other individual. So if Coates doesn't like Peterson, I'm not going to now dislike Peterson. If Peterson doesn't like Coates, I'm not going to dislike Coates. I'm grown. You know why? Because personally for me, I think the adult thing to do is to evaluate the situation and evaluate how you feel about that person and then take action on whether or not you are going to participate in a relationship with or considering their thoughts or their point of view because you decided to do that, not because this person doesn't like this person, doesn't like this person. That's not how I operate. That might come off cold or direct or whatever, but that's just me. I don't change my vibe for a person just because of another person who doesn't like their vibe. That's okay, do you. But also, I love Peterson's reaction to this. I love that, he was vocal about, the absurdity of this and things of that nature. But I love the fact that he and his daughter, how they responded. They made merch kind of based on like the satire of this comic. And then they donated the money to charity. They donated the profits to charity. I think that's awesome. I think that's great. I think that's very Jordan fashion, like making lemons into lemonade, like awesome. And just to break that down more on thinkers and writers and intellects and authors, et cetera, philosophers, doesn't matter. I like them because I like them, because I find something about them valuable and important. I might not believe everything they say, but I might find there is importance in what they do say. And now it's getting cold. The temperature in this room doesn't know what to do, but I'm almost done. I don't like to be uncomfortable when I talk about uncomfortable things. Wardrobe change, the power of editing. Whoa. And also, I must say, furthermore, not everyone's fight is your fight. Not everyone's fight is yours. It's just not. And you don't have to insert yourself into every single battle because you have social media and you have freedom of speech. Can you do this? Sure. But is it effective every single time? Probably not. So my advice to you, and advice that I continuously have on a loop in my mind, I am not even kidding. I make sure, I'm like, Brittany, should you say this? Brittany, maybe you should shut up. Like, I'm not even kidding. Really think before you react to something. Like, think about it. Like, really think. Also, I want to play a clip of this happening in real time because this is something that I didn't realize people would even pick up. I picked up actually, but I didn't think other people would care. But there was a moment when I was talking to Bret where I was trying to talk about how like extremists on the left, so to speak, how I try to keep an empathy tie with them because I used to be way more extreme than that. I was about to say something and I caught myself because I'm like, no, that sounds self-righteous.
Keep going.
Yeah, I try to give, I give like this, not grace, because who am I? But like keep the empathy tie with people that I once was aligned with, because I know what you are feeling and you actually are usually questioning yourself because you're human.
So I was thinking about, I always think, and I will take my time, and it might sound like, get it out, Brittany, but I'm really taking consideration about what I say out there, especially on Bret Weinstein's podcast. I'm like, you better wait before you talk. So this is me just considering that the fact that I'm not going to say I want to give grace to them, because I'm like, no, grace, who am I? I was actually in real time checking my own self and my own language. Like, no, grace is not the word you want to use. So I said empathy tie because I was trying to move along and I couldn't think of an actual word that was fitting. I was like, for lack of better words, empathy tie. Your words are so valuable. What you say in your language is so valuable. Your freedom of speech is so valuable. You have it. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't mean you have to say everything all the time. I was like, I'm not ready to talk yet. I'm not ready to talk, but I'm ready to talk now. And I just did. And I'm so glad to be back here. So that's my comment and my last comment. And thank you for your patience, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. There's more episodes, and I'm really, really excited about what I have in store. The next episode is going to be pretty bomb. And yeah, stay tuned for that. So thank you for watching. And comment below what you think about those quotes that I read by Bernard and Plato. I really want to know your take on the method of staying silent on things while everyone's talking. Like, have you done that? Has that worked? And what do you think about that? I really want to know. I'm curious. But thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, and less shade. And also, thanks again, Patreons. You're awesome, amazing. You will be here scrolling. You'll probably be scrolling in the bloopers I'm going to show after this. But peace, love. Like, let me just be uncomfortable with what I'm saying. So, all right. It's like, I can go here, I can go there, I can eat a bunch of dessert every single day. I have that freedom, but do I need dessert all the time? No. Like, choose wisely.